Welcome to Fallout Boys, the officially unofficial podcast for Fallout on Amazon Prime. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And we are back for the new season. It's the premiere of season 2, episode 1. Aaron, I'm curious to know what you thought of this episode. That's a welcome back to the wasteland kind of episode.
Yeah, I'm excited for this season to restart. I thought it's a good decision to maybe separate. You know, we didn't get any of Maximus this episode.
Yes.
But kind of like separate some of those threads, now, especially now that they're not so connected. I think that's a good idea. I really like the dynamic between Lucy and the Ghoul.
Of course.
I really like the fact that they did not waste a lot of time, him and Hong, about what's going to go on with Norm, you know, like his full chaos, no plan. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about, you know, they set up all this mystery of the Vault 31 controlling Vault 32 and 33. But then when we see, I guess, Betty and Stephanie and how they're struggling with different parts of it, like they've got some real issues that they got to solve. I wonder, I don't know, like, can you have like the one behind the curtain pulling the strings be kind of incompetent or an idiot? Like, is that going to be an interesting story?
I assume you're talking about Stephanie.
More so than Betty, but Betty might not. Maybe can Betty come up with a whole new water chip? Do they have spares in 31? And if they did, the fact that 31, and also like the fact that they're, do you think that Norm is the reason that the inter-vault communications aren't working? Because if he's not, and I don't think he is, I don't think that, although I guess they could, you know, the fact that Bud can't really supervise this guy and he's been all over this bay. He's a computer guy. Maybe he has. But if not, there's somebody else that's fucking with the systems. And I think that's interesting. What did you think of the getting back to the Fallout world?
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I really enjoyed this episode. It's got that like Fallout hallmark sense of humor, which is a little bit dark, a little bit weird.
Sure.
The scene that stands out to me in that regard is the soup scene, which if you've seen it, you know.
Oh, yeah. You got to get your protein somehow, Jim.
I love that scene. I think it's amazing. Yeah, one of the most exciting things to me is Norm being this agent of chaos. Like he says, plans are hard, chaos is easy. Yeah, just fuck it all up, man. Bring it all down. What are they going to do to stop you? They've got Bud's brain, which was never good to begin with, stuck inside of a Roomba. It can't do anything to you.
Right.
You have the leverage. You have the power.
He's kicked the needle off. I thought that was, you know, like this thing is completely defanged. And it's the ultimate tool the little guy has against the elite, you know, that until they completely automate everything, they're still going to need the little guys. And it's a lot easier to just fucking pull things apart and destroy parts of society and civilization than it ever is to try to build that shit. And yeah, like you got your plans. Oh, you spent decades with the best pre-war minds, with the resources of a society, of a fully functioning civilization you flushed away. Well, I'm going to undo it with just a fuck it. We ball. Yeah. It is great. It is great.
Yeah. Super excited for that.
What do you think his play here is? He's going to unfreeze all these Vault Tech guys, and then what?
I don't think he's going to have like a heart to heart with them and try to change their minds, but I mean, this really just does mess up their plan. Like if all of them come to at once. I don't know, man, because I saw the trailer, and in the trailer they show kind of like a rad roach attack in 31, but everybody's in jumpsuits, and they don't strike me as a jumpsuit type. Like you're gonna unfreeze an executive and tell him, here, wear this blue jumpsuit while you're in 31. Although with the way that Hank's relishing his suit for the first time,
right?
200
That's what I'm
years.
saying.
Yeah, maybe it is like straight from the pod to the suit.
They got the office vault that's got all the suits, but they need the rad suits for that. I
don't know what his plan is.
I was really surprised that he didn't, because I think the play that Norm should make is to pick up that brain and smash it.
Sure.
Because right now you're going to have Bud, and whatever Norm's going to try to do, Bud's going to be there to be like, that's not right, and that's not. And you'd think the executives were programmed to, or not programmed, but like habituated to, like, oh yeah, the guy in the brain in jars, and the guy from the wrong vault number is probably not who we got to listen to. So I'm surprised he didn't. I wonder why. Because this thing looks extremely vulnerable. Just pick it up and smash it on the floor. Stomp the brain. I don't think it'd survive that.
No, it wouldn't.
Lock it in a supply. Honestly, take it to a long hallway that's dead end and put it at the end and just, I don't know, throw a fucking mop on the floor. It can't.
Sure.
It's completely helpless. So like, why he's allowing it to be around while he's doing his chaos is interesting to me. Like, why? Seems like an oversight.
I mean, he's getting information from Bud occasionally. I feel like every time Bud protests about something, it's because he knows that Norm is on to something. Norm has the right idea. So just wait until, just do things until he gets angry and worried, and then you're on the right track. But the other thing is Hank. What is Hank doing? He's got this entire Vault-Tec facility where apparently this mind control technology was developed, or they were attempting to develop it. It seems like they never got that finished, never perfected it. What is his role going to be? And how naive is this guy that he's ever going to get this promotion? You think guys like Robert House are interested in begging you to work with them? No. They're going to take your work. They're going to claim it as their own, and they're going to move on and leave you in the dust, man. They have no interest in bringing you along unless it suits them.
I guess his play is to have something so unique and so valuable and so Vault-Tec doesn't know about it. So there's already some corporate rivalry between Robco and Vault-Tec that we kind of were sussing out the end of last season and in our preview podcast.
Well, it gets messy here too. I'm not.
If you could be a kingmaker, maybe you can, because you can make, anyone can make any deal they can, right? So like, if I don't know why Robert House wouldn't bust him off a little piece of the empire if it's going to accelerate his timetable by a century or two.
If there's something big for him to gain, sure.
Clearly, they're the big last season. The big mysterious technology was cold fusion. It seems like this season, the big mysterious technology is going to be whatever that Radio Shack rig that they're strapping to people's heads. And they got miniaturized versions. They got improved versions. So if he can get an improved miniaturized version, so it's, but I also it seems like it's imprecise technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they definitely haven't perfected it yet. I am curious if they're going to bring fusion back into this, because it was such an important thing in season 1. It was kind of what the whole season was about. And then here we are on to the next technology. Is that just gone? Is fusion they tried it? I assume we'll get to it with the Brotherhood, because they have
and I'm curious,
the tech now.
Because in the past, I'm going to take a couple things. I'm going to take some stabs in the dark because, I don't know what happens the rest of the season. But it seems like they're trying to tell a story where Barb has cold fusion. She's going to Vegas to give it or sell it or whatever to Robert House. But he must not have it. He must not have gotten it. Like Cooper's spy program must have interrupted it because it's something he still wants or something to still be chased. It's not an active technology that's anywhere out, in the wild. So is there going to be a parallel story of how Cooper tried to stop Robert House in the past from getting cold fusion, and it's going to tie into the future of how he denies Robert House from getting cold fusion?
I don't think so, because I think he does have it. I mean, if how else does the Vault-Tec facility that Hank goes to in the modern day get powered?
Do you think those fusion reactor cores, those like, do you think those are cold fusion cores?
I think so.
Then?
Yeah.
Well, then why the fuck is it such a big deal for her to get it hooked up? That like, why couldn't you just murdered her brother at a steel guy and plugged his fusion? I think there's a difference.
Yeah, you might. I
think
there's
a difference between the fusion core and that, and I think that it's going to be a parallel in the past and in the present, trying to keep that. The other thing is though, is if that's such a linchpin to his plans, like, oh, he can't push the button until he gets cold fusion, then why did the button get pushed?
Either he got cold fusion or he got cold feet.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's something connection there that I haven't quite made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad. On the other hand, I'm also glad I haven't figured out the whole season from the first episode.
It's episode 1. We can give it a little time. But it was fun. It was fantastic. Like I said, that flea soup scene, man, I cracked up when flea soup turned out to be what it is.
There's a lot of grim laughs I got from this episode, and Ella Purnell is just really funny the way, because I've only really seen her in Yellow Jackets, where she plays this very hard to empathize with spoiled brat teenager.
Oh yeah.
So seeing her be like this, just kind of beacon of light and morality, is and very competent, it's a new side to her, and I'm really taking a shine to her. I like, because I find myself agreeing with her, you know, like I see the truth of what the ghoul's saying. Is like, well, do you think justice works in a world like this? And then she's like, well, I kind of have to believe it. And also, does the other way, the nihilist would like, look around you, does it work?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's devastating to that argument.
Constant mentions of how, like, that's the other thing. I just like, it's these Vault-Tec people are so stupid when they talk about what they were able to accomplish with the best minds, with the education, and with a functioning civilization, and they decide to flip over the chessboard so they can control it all. It just seems so fucking foolish. So cut your nose off to spite your face. But they got to have that control and power, I guess. Do you want to get into the episode proper? Should we just start talking about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do just that. In a flashback to the pre-bomb drop days, a blue-collar bar is watching the richest man in America offer help live on TV with international negotiations, while riots against robots replacing workers rage outside. A dapper gentleman picks a fight with a few toughs in the establishment, and when they take things outside, offers them $31 million in exchange for being allowed to implant a box on the back of their neck. Long story short, the market research doesn't go exactly well, but nevertheless, progress is made.
Yeah, I mean, how much are they going to lean into the parallels of today with this AI boom that we're experiencing?
I think they're not going to mention people by name, but anytime you talk about the richest man in America being a somewhat kind of self-serving villain, like, you can't help but make comparisons to what's going on, nowadays. Because I can't remember, this was on the Fallout preview where we're joking about, like, you know, of all the guys, there's like 4 or 5 of them trying to get to be the world's first trillionaire. Which one of them is going to start pissing in jars and saving it on shelves first? And, you know, like, it seems like they're always a self-limiting factor, because once they get so convinced of their smartness, so convinced of the righteousness of what they're doing and how they deserve it and they're entitled to it, and it's all like all the other people are lesser and they're the geniuses in front of the chalkboard. When they get to that stage, like, there's no helping them. There's no bringing them back. Like, it just seems like it's inevitable. They're going to start wearing Kleenex boxes on their feet and pissing in jars.
Right. Injecting younger men's blood and drinking virile horse semen. Who knows what they're doing over there? I think it was a Walton Goggins interview where they were talking about this, and he says, you can't really connect it to modern days exactly, but let's say the Howard Hughes types. That's why, kind of like pissing in jars and wearing Kleenex boxes on your feet, because I think, that like it's hard not to see Justin Theroux in this and not see like a Howard Hughes type. Sure. As captain of industry, but he's also kind of insane, and he's Yeah, the
he's great.
Aviator
I will
is
say
an
that
excellent
Justin
movie.
Theroux is really doing a very good job of portraying this type of person.
Yeah, he's so self-assured. He's so above it all. He's like, nothing that is going to happen in this encounter is going to affect me in a lasting way.
Which I'm surprised, because like I was as soon as he cracked open this trunk with $31 million, I'm like, we'll beat this man to death.
Yeah, you're
and
done.
Drive off with the car. But so I wonder if he had a backup to that, because like I like the fact that he's like, punch me in the face. I think I'd enjoy that. And then the guy hauls off and hits him. And he's like, rarely wrong, but let's move, because again he's like, no, I don't want any of this smoke. I wonder if he had like a Robco bodyguard robot, because like, what is his assurance that if this got out of hand and that guy did grab him and he didn't turn around and look at his buddy so he could slap the slave module on his neck? What was his plan for these very tough hammer swinging blue collar dudes to not beat his ass and take his money? There had to be something, because he's way too Jesse Eisenberg with these guys.
Sure, but I think that's it. His plan is, I am so smart, I am so in control and wealthy and powerful that I just cannot be harmed. I think it's a bit of naivete on his part.
Yeah.
He thinks he's in control of every situation that he walks into, and I think that is absolutely not true. Yeah.
I think back to, a speech that Frank Underwood gave in the first season of House of Cards that stuck with me. It's like, a lot of guys, they burn out of government early and they go to the private sector because that's all where the money's at. And it's like, eventually they learn the lesson of, would you, at the end of the day, would you rather be sitting in the $1 million McMansion in the suburbs, or would you rather be in the old stone house that has all the power? And I feel like these guys, like what Justin Theroux says, it's like, oh, you didn't vote for him? Well, every dollar you've given this man was a vote, and he's got more votes than any chuckle fucking Congress. Y'all are missing the point, because you have this power, this economic freedom, because we, the people, allow you to. And the guys in the old stone houses can, if we hold them accountable, rein this shit in. But in this is like, it was conjecturing that if things keep going another 50, 60 years in this direction, that maybe guys with the money will have their hands on the button and will be able to rein. But like right now, I don't think that's true. Like it's just a matter of political will to stop things. But
for sure.
Yeah, it is depressing. Like that you could think that like, okay, we're going to create a separate tract of democracy, which is just where people spend money is where they believe. And it's like, no, you can't. It's like trying to start a game of life from the middle of a game of Monopoly, or maybe vice versa. You can't fucking do that. Yeah,
there is something very true about it. Also, that every dollar spent is a vote cast. I believe that, in as much as money is power, or can translate pretty directly to power. There's some things he's saying in this scene that are, in my mind, manifestly true. And there are some things that I think he is extremely wrong about. Like, it's feeling in control of all these situations.
It's true in the sense that like might makes right. Like ultimately, if someone has more power than another person, then that person is going to have their say. But on a meta level, we as society has rejected that, because if everyone listens to the strong men, we don't get to go to the moon, and we don't get to invent intercontinental ballistic missiles. And eventually the people who don't go with the might makes right, physical might makes right, they're going to outcompete the people that do, because they are going to be working together. They are going to be harnessing the power of millions of minds and hands working, and the other guys are going to be isolated. It's like the Spartans. Like if everyone loves to suck the Spartans' dick because of Thermopylae,
including the Spartans themselves.
Excluding the Spartans, they were the foremost dick suckers of Spartans. But Sparta did not run Greece, not even close. And then also Sparta got their ass kicked in just like everyone else did when the world moved on. Like that, their rugged individualism and leaving kids, like. no one, that's willpower to take your child and leave him on a hill because you don't think they're fit, right?
Sure.
But if that was the best way to run some, why didn't they kick Athens' ass? Why? Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's. So I think it's like it's true to a point, but the second you you abstract it from like an MMA, two guys in an octagon, to 8 billion people on this planet,
yeah,
might makes right no longer, because there's other ways to be mighty, and those ways to be mighty became way more powerful somewhere in the like 16th, 17th century. And you can do the caveman shit if you want, but you're going to get your ass stomped by rainbow flag wearing trans troops that can do combined arms and precision strike, the guided laser strikes. You can beat your chest and swing as much clubs as you want, but I'm sorry, the brains eventually are going to win. So but again, I feel like every several generations people forget this, and we got to have that fight again.
And this technology, much like I think the AI movement that it's sort of hinting at here in our real world, doesn't work well. It's a hint of an idea of a technology that they think could work in the future. And this is just market research. They're testing to see if it actually works, to see if the public is amenable to it.
Right.
And they are not.
And I think there's a lot of like on the face satire. Like you're supposed to understand, like when Justin Theroux has this like badass like obsolescence. Okay, I try to look at it from your perspective, but I just can't. I can't pretend to be so dim to be caught off guard by the inevitable. And 2 seconds later, he asked to be punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't need to be punched in the face to know a big, strong, working class dude that works with his hands and is going to like hurt my face. But Justin Theroux, Robert House needed that. So it's like, didn't you just get caught off guard by an inevitable? What'd you think would happen when this guy swung his meat hook and hit you? Like,
fair.
And then the technology. What went wrong at the end? Like the thing is like, this is Fallout. This is to me is like Fallout technology. It's like you slap a Radio Shack piece on someone's head. You got a button with you control with a button and a radius dial. Like, how does that control someone?
That's a very good question. I don't know. There must be just a lot of AI algorithmic stuff going on in that box, and all you have to do is turn a knob, and the AI knows what to do.
Does it make a person suggestible? Because he, it's like not like the guy instantly swung into action. He had to give him a command, and maybe there's some, but regardless, it exploded dude's head. Yeah, we see a lot of, and even hundreds of years later, with Vault's working on it, it's still exploding people's heads.
Yeah, I guess mind control is like a concept that is sort of approached or talked about with in the games in Fallout 3 with the character named the Surgeon. I had to look this up, but like, I guess it's not a part, right? Like much like cloning,
right?
Like we talked about last episode. It's not a part of Fallout, but it's not a big part of Fallout.
Not
either.
A big part, right?
So what are they going to do with this? Because it seems like it's a big part of this season.
It does, and I don't know, because I was tempted to start looking into Robert House because I understand he is a character that is, but like I tell people all the time, like when I'm doing a podcast, I'm like, do not, we're in House of the Dragon, do not Google these people's names. This is a historical fact in their world. We know what happens to them. If you don't want to. So I was like, I'm not going to do that to myself. I don't know. And I love Justin Theroux, and I'm looking forward to getting to know his character here. So, but yeah, like I imagine there's answers and lots of hints. It's just, I don't want to spoil myself.
Fair.
I did like his, like, cause it's the other, and this just shows, again, I think it's an intentional parody that this guy's like, oh, the world may end, but progress marches on. Will it? Like, if you end human civilization and there's only like 60 of you left, and you're like, is progress going to keep happening? I don't know, man. I've seen stuff going on in 32 and 33.
Yeah. One step forward, 200 years, step backwards. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how's it progress to have humankind is sleep under the dirt for 200 years? And it's crazy. But he's great. And I love the fact that, because like when it first started, he's being interviewed and he's like, oh, the government needs help with international negotiations. And it's like, man, that doesn't really look like Justin Theroux. What have they done with the makeup? And then it's not. So he's like paranoid crazy. He's using body doubles so that people aren't even hating the right person. It's a really great character. Yeah. And I think Theroux's got the goods to play it.
Why not use a guy that doesn't look so much like you? Because it doesn't not look like him either. It's pretty close. Well,
so I imagine like everyone that's this rich probably started off at life like not being rich enough to pull off the like, you know, Vladimir Putin body double thing. So like you're already too famous to pull that off, right? Like if you could just raise your wealth and obscurity and then come out after you're a billionaire and be like, this is my puppet. And, you know, but like, yeah, if you're.
So what you need is a series of body doubles who look ever more not like you. Just like gradually.
Every year you get the nose gets a little bigger. The eyebrows get a little, the hairline recedes and you just kind of move it into a different direction. Sure. I mean, that's like, honestly, go back and look at a picture of Elon Musk in the PayPal days.
Oh, it's crazy.
And tell me, because that's the other thing. Not only could he be making the nose big, hairline recede, but in his real body, he could be building his hairline back up, getting a nose job, doing some cycles, getting some, So you might be right. You could move that window or perception around.
Right? 20 years could happen.
All right, we're back in the present of the Fallout world, and the ghoul has gotten hijacked by a gang calling themselves the Khans. Lucy, before implementing what she's going to call Plan B, which is shooting the ghoul down from the gallows so he can unleash a bit of violence, offers to let them leave with their lives. This is Plan C. They decline her offer, and okie dokie, they don't.
Okie dokie. Love it. So this was all a ruse, right? Like she was the bounty hunter that turned in the ghoul in order to get some caps, in order to pay for her food, and he was supposed to kill them all, I guess. Which pretty much goes down how you would expect to the song, to Marty Robbins' Big Iron song, which is tremendous. It's a great song.
Tremendous. Have you known? Because like I was introduced to the song through the Helldiver community.
Really?
Helldivers. Which is like fresh in my mind. So when it started up, I'm like, oh fuck yeah. It's an awesome song. Awesome ballad.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's about a ranger who comes into town hunting down an outlaw and kills him, guns him down in the street.
I mean, it's like, because this outlaw he's killed 120 or 119 men. There's been 20 law officers has come after him, and he has no fear of this guy. And the ranger with the big iron on his hip puts him in the ground in pretty epic fashion.
Yeah, feels a lot like our ghoul.
Contrast that with Lucy, who is shooting people in the ass, shooting people in the leg. She's essentially Arnold Schwarzenegger in T2, you know,
ruining the ass jerky.
They live, but he's like, are you know, like again in the wasteland, is shooting someone in the ass or in their kneecap a mercy,
right?
When your doctor, when your PMO, your PPO is the chicken fucker. Like what are the odds of overcoming an infection? You know, plus like for guys like this, a limp would be a critical liability. Like they probably survive on their physical strength and resilience. So, you know, she's doing the quote unquote kind thing, and he's making a point that you're just leaving them to suffer.
Can't help but notice that they're not actually cannibals. You know, they're not above eating a dog, but they want to kill Lucy and eat the dog. So not as bad as the people we met on the train tracks last season.
True. Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Is it possible that the head of this gang, the Khans, I guess is what they call themselves, is related to William Fichtner? Because, dude, this guy looks exactly... You know who William Fichtner is? He's the guy from Armageddon. He's one of the actual astronauts from Armageddon.
Yes. The one who's got the daughter.
Yeah. He's Willie Sharp, I think is his name in that movie. God, I've seen that movie too many times. He's a tremendous character actor from the 90s and 2000s. He's fantastic. Haven't seen him much lately, but this guy looks just like him. I was trying to figure out if this was a son or a brother or something, but I don't think so. I think he just bears a likeness.
He's a con. How? Because I had this question about like, well, how long is Lucy going to keep beating her head against this diplomacy thing? Because it's kind of frustrating. But then I started on like on my subsequent watch, I was thinking, if she did, she would no longer be Lucy. Like her defining tribute is that she's trying to set, she knows this isn't the way the world works, but she's trying to show a better way. So if she ever is like, shoot first, ask questions later, let God sort them out, like the character of Lucy that we've come to know and love will be dead.
This is why Lucy and the Ghoul are such good pairing, right? Because they're the odd couple. They're the two opposing views of the world, and not really opposing either. Like Lucy acknowledges that the Ghoul is right, and the Ghoul has something inside him that says, I'm not doing the right thing. The Lucy is trying to dig down to and sort of surface. But or at least that's how I'm reading it. I also think that I think we talked about this last year in the or the last season and in the recap, where it's like I'm looking for them to kind of, she's hypothesis, he's thesis, and then you need a synthesis where they come together and they're like, actually, because like I think Lucy's crazy trying to bring her dad back to justice when there isn't a justice system. Like justice in this thing, the best you can hope for in like a Wild West street justice is a fairly good person that is going to defend the weak against the strong. There's not going to be due process. There's not going to be investigations. There's probably going to be a lot of lynchings and murder, but you hope that the person lynching and murdering is doing it out of a sense of common decency. And I think that, that's the thing, is like the Ghoul's got the strength and the decency, but he is just like Lucy says, lost the will to kind of be that hero. He's calcified in this thing that he can't be hurt. But he's got the goods and she's got I think that they could come together. There's a less blood-soaked way to conduct business that still is not naive and going to get yourself killed. I think you're right.
All right, let's move on to the Ghoul and Lucy on the outskirts of Vegas. Lucy remarks that, hey, it looks just like the old pictures. Cooper says that the man called Robert House shot down most of the nukes headed for Vegas, which triggers a flashback to the day he discovered his wife complicit in crimes against humanity.
She's thinking, hey, this looks like old Vegas used to look. And I'm thinking, hey, this looks exactly like Vasquez Rocks. Because, hey, 90% of this episode is shot at Vasquez Rocks in California, just outside of LA.
Is that where they did the Gorn episode of Star Trek?
Yes.
Okay, because I like that so many shows very. Here. We were just talking about that in our the old series cast a couple months back. Yeah.
Yes, they're unmistakable, man. I'm like, this is not Nevada. This is California. You can't fool me. But yeah, there's an interesting story here, right? Like that we kind of get the shape of in this scene where New Vegas is spared most of the carnage because Robert House has his own personal missile defense system, I guess, or the missiles came from here or something. So he was able to shoot down these bombs, protect Vegas.
I love the scene in the flashback where he's trying to get his daughter. He's just, okay, I don't know what to do, but I need to grab my daughter. I need to get the hell out of here. I need to get away from this crazy woman. And his escape is interrupted by a civil air defense warning, which is advertised on the radio and is like, hey, it's coming up in 10 seconds. But it's a very War of the Worlds moment where people weren't listening to radio. All they hear is the bomb signs going off, and they're freaking the fuck out. Even Cooper, who knows it's ominous. You see this military helicopter go by, and the sirens are screaming. We know this isn't the moment. Yeah, but there's a couple interesting things I noticed about the scene. Did you pick anything up?
I mean, I got the song. I saw
I'm
the
talking about
Vault Tech
there's
van installing the what I assume is installing a vault in somebody's house, or at the very least selling vaults to people there.
But and then that's what I was thinking is like it might not be, but I think they're suggesting that maybe Vault Tech has penetrated the government enough that they are coordinating civilian tests at the same time their installers and salesmen are going to be going through the neighborhood. So it's like,
right?
Oh
Where
my
would
God,
you run to?
we could have all been dead. And you go back and you look outside and there's a Vault Tech truck in front of you.
Yeah. And then the first thing they ask you is, if that were real, where would you have run? Where would you have gone? You know, that's a powerful sales pitch. I think you're right. That makes a lot of sense.
Good sales pitch. And especially how cynical the guy looked. And he looks at Cooper and I think he recognizes Cooper. And then Cooper feels like the biggest asshole in the world when he sees his face urging people to go into this company.
Yeah.
Keep your loved
I do wonder
safe.
how that's going to affect him going forward. Like how that factors into him being the ghoul, getting like this sense of, you know what? Screw it. None of this is worth it. It's all gone to shit. Like, granted, the world goes to shit. Mm-hmm. But personally, how does he get there? It's got to have something to do with his part in this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I also like, that's the other thing is like, we talked about how are they going to keep the, kayfabe of their marriage going?
Yeah.
And I liked how, like, that's the thing. A lot of things I was wondering, on our episode, our looking forward episode was immediately answered. It's because, well, Moldaver is going to give him a mission and it's going to be the greatest acting career in his job. Can he fool his wife of, I don't know, over a decade into thinking that he's really in love and he doesn't suspect anything? I love it. I love that he's going to have to genuinely act to try to, I guess, save him and his daughter's souls is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, to what end? Like, where does he go with this? Because right now he's just kind of in a sticky situation, but how does he get out?
Why? So is it kind of weird that no one's even suggesting that he just go public with this? Like, he's a very respected actor who's been the face of this company. If he comes forward and says, like, I have found out this, it's crazy. Like, is it too late, or would they just go ahead and hit the button a week early or whatever? And I don't know, because it seems like he's got a little. Yeah, he's got a couple plays he could make that's not involving just trying to 007 this on the orders of Moldaver. But
yeah, and it's pretty imminent too, right? Like the cold fusion tech being delivered to Robert House means this is just over the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we even talked about it. Like, there's no way it can be more than a couple weeks, months. It can't be years between where we're at now in a time frame and where we were at the beginning of the first season, where Cooper was working the birthday party and the bombs actually dropped.
For sure.
All right, let's go back to the future. We check in with our Vault Dwellers in Vault 33. Hapless Reg comes in, licking a lollipop and hassling Betty for something to do, but her hands are full, with the whole damaged water control chip, and also running a stealth experiment on all of humankind on behalf of Vaultco. She says, why don't you start a club or something, which he agrees to in exchange for a snack budget. I know they coded this guy to be a complete fucking idiot, but like him skipping in with the lollipop, I maybe they're going a little too far in some of this stuff.
Does he? Okay. I might agree with you, but I need to know the answer to one question first.
Okay.
Does he actually have a PhD in event planning? Because if he does, I think he is just enough of a, to steal a word from you, a flibberty gibbet, that he could be this person. If that's not a real thing, if that's a joke, then no, I'm with you.
Well, let me ask you this. What accredited institution awarded him this postdoctorate degree? The School of Lucy?
Yeah,
so that's like whatever's
happening in this fall, right? Like whatever they teach people.
whatever inbred cousin fucker decided to teach him about event coordination in this vault and handed him like, to me, it's like, yeah, it's all suspect. And it's wildly inapplicable to anything that you actually need to survive in an apocalypse.
And that's why I say, like, it's appropriate for this man sucking a lollipop, essentially skipping down the hallway, to have a PhD in event planning, an actual accredited, as much as that means.
He's already a non-serious kind of,
yeah.
Just mumble of a man anyway. Giving him a lollipop was a little much for me. It's just like...
It was a bit much. I agree.
Like, what if he just talked like a 4-year-old? He just... It's just really put off. I didn't think he needed it. I bought that he was a fucking idiot. I didn't need him to be infantilized. Thank you.
I mean, what if he were Davey? Like that guy. I mean, look... Okay, so I have not played extensively any of the Fallout games. The one I did play is Fallout Shelter. And in that game, I got the sense that the people who were surviving in these vaults were very infantilized. Were like, I mean, they were like Lucy plus.
They're naive. Lucy's naive, but Lucy is not like licking lollipops. Lucy's
she's a
practicing your weaponry and cousin fucking. Yeah.
Sure. No, there's something like it's beyond wholesome. It's like people who are designed to be controlled, designed to be like. I it's hard to explain because it's just a vibe. It's actually not. I don't think ever spelled out anywhere, but I did get that sense playing that Fallout Shelter game. So this kind of lines up with what I feel about Fallout, given that I have not played the mainline games.
All right. It's not fatal. I'm just saying that like it's a little like I hope you never need me to take this guy seriously again. Because I just can't. You'd need like Jamie Lannister levels of development for his character over 3 or 4 seasons before I would take him seriously as a person. Once he came skipping in with his fucking lollipop,
chop his lolly hand off.
And again, I'm not talking about like he doesn't have like a sucker, like it was like the sucker the bank lady gives at you when when you're a kid and you go through the line with your mom. It's a lollipop.
It's his baby shit. Yeah, for sure.
It's the literal candy that you take from babies in the parable. Yeah,
the only way it could have been sillier is if it were much, much larger.
It's pretty fucking big. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like it wasn't like novelty size. It wasn't like big as your head kind of state fair lollipop, but
right. Okay. So 2 other things. One of them here is, when are we going to see Zach Cherry? Because I miss Zach Cherry, and he's the other half of this dynamic duo.
Yeah, like I'm glad we got to see Davey and what his struggles are, but it's all about
and we saw
what was his name? What'd you say his name was? His Woody. As much as I like seeing Davey, I really want to check in with our man Zach Cherry, see what's going on with that.
Yeah, because he was pretty nervous about going into Vault 32. He tried to run away. He's like, nope, can't do this. I want to go back to the previous scene just very quickly because we talked at length about like, what are they doing? A bunch of like underlings, second level, mid-level management executive, like not even C-suite people meeting about the end of the world. And we find out that actually in this meeting, Robco was represented by Robert House, the actual head of Robco, and also the most rich person in the world, I guess. So
was he in the guise of his duplicate? How do we know he was in the room?
Oh, it is his duplicate.
Because it wasn't Justin Theroux, and they can't get away with saying that. Yeah, it's Justin.
You're right. You're right. It was his dupe. So he didn't go. He just sent his dupe. Interesting.
Did they have a name label that said Robert House?
It said Robco. And it's the same guy from the TV screen that you see in the first scene of this movie this series.
So he was represented by his representative, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to mention is how easily, because this comes up when Norm when he's dueling with Bud, and Bud's we got contingencies for everything. No one's gonna come for you. We already see like Reg here asking about Norm, and Betty's already got. Well, he's going for a leadership exchange program. We won't see him for a while in 31. I didn't think it'd be that easy, but in retrospect, of course it would be.
Of course. I mean, they send people to get married. You never see them again. So
yeah, it reminds me of one of those deals where like the Island did this. Michael Bay's The Island.
Yes.
What's the other one? That,
Hunger Games? I don't know.
Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas did this too. Where it's
really?
like there's this reward that everyone's encouraged to work for and be, but actually the reward is just to be you butchered and your part stolen or harvested for chicken nuggets or whatever. I like the idea that like everyone's aspiring to like, oh, but I wish I get a fellowship at 31. Oh, that's the fast track. Because like even Reg sees it as like, oh, it's an advancement opportunity, but that's when you're actually being put out to pasture. Like there's something a little really Orwellian about working for an ultimate reward that is your death or something.
And then the water. We asked about this because it was mentioned in season 1 only once, and it was never brought back up again, but not a lot of time had passed on the show, so we weren't sure if it was a problem. This water chip is still a concern. It's still malfunctioning. This is real, right? Like, is this something they're going to have to deal with? And is Betty actually scared of this?
Yeah. That's the thing is like, goddamn, because until you ask that question, I'm like, I thought this answered the question of there's a little thing in my mind is like, did Betty sabotage this in a way that allow her to easily dismiss the Woodies and Regs of the world in the election, but also be able to save it and save the day? Unless she's really committing to that bit, I don't. And it does look like there's genuine worry and they're trying to come up with backups. It's not quite working. Yeah, there's a ticking time clock over these communities, it seems.
Yeah, seems like it.
Meanwhile, in Vault 32, our Lady Stephanie is faring no better, beset on all sides by idiots like Davy, who can't get used to the new way things are, and idiots like Chet, who can feel like they're being railroaded but can't seem to find a way off the track. Also, to make matters worse, Intervault comms are mysteriously down, isolating her from the rest of her Vault Tech buddies. I already asked if Norm is responsible for this. But if not Norm, who? Or is this just a breakdown? Is this like what they talked about in Expanse, where you've got a systemic collapse, where it's like everything's still working and going, but like the end has already happened.
Cascade, yeah.
Yeah. It's like if your heart stops beating, your body doesn't die right away. The cells are still alive and will be for some time, but it's over.
Yeah,
and no like, is this the Canadians? Like they fucked around too much, and they're going to find out.
I think Norm is going to make them find out with a little bit of chaos, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not actually sure why this is malfunctioning because Bud's working on it. We never saw Norm like go over to a panel and kick it open and tear some guts out or anything. So I don't know. My
best guess is Hank. Hank is sabotaging because he has been ousted from his familiar confines. He can't go back because, his daughter the only way out is through, and he's going to try to use the competition between Robco and Vaultco to get a leg up. And to do that, he is sabotaging the Vault Tech project. Because like I said, if it's not Norm, who else could it be? And like Hank's got the means, the motive with he's in various vaults. He could have stopped by Vault 24, and before he stole the hard drive out of it, used it with his supervisor clearance to shut everything. That's where I think it's Hank.
Yeah, I will say it's a little strange, and maybe I'm just not remembering them telling us what happened, but I think it's strange to not tell us why the comms are down. Other than to show Bud with his Roomba arms working on it. The fact that Stephanie and Bud are beside themselves about it tell me that it can't be like a plan that they're doing. Right.
But I did, like Stephanie's palpable irritation with Dave. Like, dude.
He's very annoying. Funny.
I mean, I get it. He's got 60 years of muscle memory working against him, but god damn. And I also love the attention to detail. As soon as he walks out of his office, he immediately takes a turn into a wall. It's like,
Yep.
you know.
I will say, as much as I was frustrated with Davey, who is a fun character, Chet, grow a pair. Come on, dude.
I mean, because I guess she is afraid. She's scary with the eye patch and the knife. But that's the other thing is, like, I feel like the show's constantly building people up and then knocking them down. Like, that was a badass scene where she's cutting the orange and she just like, are we having a fight? And she stabs but it took her a while to get the knife out. And I'm like,
Right.
But yeah, Davey is supposed to be a joke of an NPC that, like, because that's the thing about these RPG games is, like, they're pretty good in how deep you can have, but there's a trade-off between how deep a conversation you can have and how railroaded you are in terms of, like, the game can't anticipate you doing everything, right? That sometimes leads to, like, nonsensical conversations you can have with an NPC, like, where they're not really responding to what you're saying. And is that Dave? Because, like, with him and Reg at the voting, like, everything Reg was saying was like, and he was just and here with Stephanie, and what's really funny with Chet, he's like, got a beautiful baby there. It's not mine. Heck of a woman your wife is. We're not even married. I never started a family. You should enjoy it. It's not mine. Like, he just is non-responsive to any new information.
Yeah, it was very funny. I loved it.
Speaking of Norm and whether he may or may not be responsible for the comm sabotage, he has been existing in Vault 31, living off survival rations and collected groundwater. Bud taunts him with his imminent death, his only hope being his father's empty cryopod.
And the dialogue here is amazing. I love the corporate speak, full of himself, middle manager talk.
The evil Bond villain, but it's middle management speak.
Yep. What hope do you have against the greatest achievement in the history of vertical integration?
That's a hell. Do you know what vertical integration actually means?
It's where you basically own the entire chain of a product's life cycle, top to bottom. So you manufacture it, you market it, you sell it, everything.
Yeah. So, like, a horizontal integration would be like if Bald Move would buy CNN. You know, we talk about stupid shit, but they talk about serious shit, and there's going to be some synergy there. Vertical integration would be like if we bought Spotify and we bought Paramount, so we're in control of the shows being produced, the shows we cover, and how they're getting published and distributed.
Yeah.
It's wild saying killing all of the humankind with nuclear bombs and then that's vertical integration. I mean, it's true,
it's
but
fairly accurate.
That is some corporate rating on a scale no one has ever. It'd make Adam Smith blush.
And I will not lie, I was actually wondering in this scene if Bud could be a threat. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't all just bluster and Roomba, puffed up Roomba pride. But no, next scene, no.
Yeah. He's not. I did think it's a weird edit to have him like he's like crawling over to his dad's, and we got a POV shot of him considering, and then I thought that'd be great. And then they come on and he's just like kneeling in front of that for 5 minutes or for 5 seconds. It's like, it's a weird scene transition, but whatever. Cooper and Lucy continue to track their father down through the wasteland, which isn't hard given the size of his enormous footprints. They stop by a flea soup merchant for some info, and Lucy and Coop debate the merits of justice in a broken society. Eventually, the tracks lead them all the way to Vault 24.
Dude. Flea soup. I'm like, okay, flea soup is going to be gross, right?
It's going to be gross. Yeah.
But when she walks over and then shakes out her hair into the soup.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me. You might be able to pay me enough, but I'll say this, Aaron, you couldn't pay me enough to eat that. Someone could.
$31 million.
Right,
I don't have the head for the head lice anyway. It reminded me a lot. If you've heard of the perpetual soups that they had, beard, dander, and lice, they had these perpetual soups in medieval inns where, like, you'd have this big pot going over a fire, and during the day, the proprietor would add like a cut up rabbit or some potatoes or carrots and some more seasoning. But like the bowl never gets emptied and it never gets cleaned. It's just always bubbling at a food safe temperature.
This is like mole, right?
I don't know.
Mexicans have a similar version of this.
Okay, but like, yeah, the fact that you just like I kept getting reminded of that as she's got perpetual soup because you need to sell more soup. Scratch your head. You know, they're breeding more by the thousands. It's oh god, what you'll do for protein though.
Yeah,
and also if we're being honest, what makes or breaks flea soup is the broth. So
sure, it's a pork broth. I prefer pork broth.
Looked like dirty dishwater, man. That's the other.
It's probably irradiated. Like she takes a sip of it too. Why? Just to be polite?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, she's a vaulty, man.
Ugh.
Also, the flea soup lady, did she or did she not remind you of Mac's mom from Always Sunny?
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, I thought so too. Just this crusty, leathery woman that might have gotten run over by a semi. She hated, like, also she's concerned about her son being abducted by this metal man, but only because the cocksucker owes me money.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take this lady's pants crackers? Would you take her up on that?
I want to see them, but definitely not.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking if they've been in her sweaty pants for God knows how many years.
Ugh.
It's bad.
And they're not going to be crackers. Although I guess she is pretty literal with what she puts in the soup. So
true. We kind of already talked about the debate they have on justice. We kind of talked around that, but
it's funny. I will also say that this is filmed at Vasquez Rocks. And there's the Vault 24 is also filmed at Vasquez Rocks. So like, to me, it looks like they're just walking in a circle and there are people building things and tearing things down behind them as they go.
Yeah. Look at Jim, everybody. He's seen the Star Trek episode Arena. And
I can't unsee it, man. Those rocks are so distinctive.
Especially since and even Star Trek in the episodes we were at, they like went back to Vasquez Rock like within 2 episodes. So yeah, we got Vasquez Rock on the brain
for sure.
Vault 24 reminds Cooper, like a lot of things do, of an earlier time where he met Moldaver after taking his daughter from his home. She urges him to stay and use his fame to make connections to people she'd never have a chance with, like, for example, Robert House, who Barb is going to visit next week in Vegas to sell him cold fusion. Apparently the only thing he needs to push the button.
Yeah, I was trying to piece together what's going on here. So obviously Vegas was spared the fate of the rest of the world, at least mostly. Mostly, yeah. I like that they said most of them. But why, if he's the one launching the bombs, it strikes me as he didn't launch the bombs. Someone launched the bombs and he just had the ability to defend himself. Because why does he need to shoot down bombs of his own launching? Well, but if he like the Russian shoot bombs off?
Metaphorically, I don't think he's actually but like if he has control over whether buttons get pushed, then obviously the Russians aren't going to be like, well, we don't want to hit Robert House. So he'd have to have the ability to shoot them down. Yeah, because that's the thing, is like, did he need cold fusion, or like, obviously the most important thing was the missile. Like, was he ready to go as soon as his House Patriot battery got put together, or what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how close he is exactly. This is obviously the last piece, but how long does it take to set that up? Right. And again, we know we have like less than a year in real world time to elapse between, the reveal of Barb and the bomb dropping, because, Laney's just not that old. What else? I like the fact that, like, even after all this, the Coop's still not convinced. But what really pushes him over the edge is when he goes back home and he hears Robert House on the radio essentially saying that this escalating war, it's no longer a matter of if it's going to happen, but who's going to push the button. And that's so close to what Moldaver said. It's just like he can't sit back and do nothing. Yeah. Yeah, and this is what reminds me of the AI stuff that we're experiencing right now. Everybody acknowledges, like, if you talk to if you get anybody who is working on this stuff into a room,
and ask them off the record what they think the dangers of AI are, they will say off the charts. Like, this thing is more than likely going to destroy humanity. And yet they're all still pushing for it. Because if you're not the first person to get there, you're the last person. You're nothing.
You want China to have the first chance to destroy humanity, Jim? No.
Right? Because they see that 10% chance of being able to control it and exploit it. And that is like the carrot that's dangling out there. Yeah. Never mind the giant ass stick that's waiting to hit you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I do know that it's going to be entertaining to see Cooper try to act like nothing's wrong with his wife when they go out to Vegas together.
Yes.
Before descending to Vault 24, Cooper tells Lucy he has to compose himself every time he enters a vault, which has been many, because every time he has to face the fact that he might come with the realization of what's happened to his family. Live, dead, or something even worse.
Yeah, a lot of good information here about vaults in general. They're more often than not destroyed. They're like this one.
Yeah, looted. Like they're, I guess they're like Egyptian tombs, you know, you're all these impressive things, but they've all been combed through. Cause like, yeah, I mean, that's the problem with the vault, right? Like, how do you hide it? And given time, how could you make it impervious to attack? Right. Like,
right.
That's the prepper problem. You know, a lot of, people are prepping, but then like in a real shit hits the fan situation, are you going to be able to defend it? Like, are you going to be able to defend it from a family? Are you going to be able to defend it from a neighborhood? Are you going to be able to defend it from a suburb that's all coming together and working for you? Rogue elements of the military. Like, have you stockpiled things for your family, or have you stockpiled things for the first raider that's mightier than you to come around and like, oh, look at all this shit. He's got all this canned food and ammo and rifles in one easy, convenient location.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a juicy target for sure. And I get the impression, and I'm open to being wrong, but it feels like this would be a good hook for a game. Get the impression that the games are you going around discovering vaults and going into them, like dungeons in a Zelda.
I think that's absolutely true. Like, some of the fascinating parts of going to vaults and seeing what's happening, what happened in other vaults. You know, you're reading the logs and stuff that we were talking about and getting into all the heebie-jeebie stuff. But let's move on to Vault 33 again, where Reg leads a support group for inbreeding. Really disappoints a pair of redheaded cousins.
Yeah. He desperately tries to hold on to his last participant.
Marianne.
He'll say anything.
I'm not a geneticist. Well, it could be. And then she just like, you know, now now he feels useful, I guess. But that's the thing is, like, him zooming on his face is not the look of a man who's satisfied with what he's come up with.
No, I agree.
I like the idea that there's like 18-year-old cousins that don't have any other viable alternatives, and they are hot for each other, and they're in love, and their political activism is trying to overturn inbreeding laws.
Yeah. And they're completely uninterested once they realize they're not getting the good news they thought they were. Like, this isn't a party to organize.
Right. Not that kind of support group for inbreeding.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say, if they also have these rules, which, you know, it seems like you would have to, how the fuck are there so many inbred Vault citizens? Is that like more of a guideline? Is it something that you got some flex on? Like,
maybe it's just inevitable. Maybe it's like,
because it's such a small community that even falsifying paperwork isn't, because like they're like, no, I know your mom and I knew her sister and I know you guys were cut. Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is a stereotype from the 90s when I was growing up, but maybe it's like trying to keep Catholic girls from having sex. Like, good luck. Try it.
The harder you hold on to them, the more their virginity slips through their fingers.
Right. There's something in this too with like people who don't feel useful, people who've been left behind by the society that they're in, right? Reg is one of those. He's looking for something to do, and so he's being annoying, and
who feels insecure about his place in society anyway. Like even
and Chet. Look at Chet. Chet is like that to a T. He's uncomfortable with the role he's been given because he doesn't feel like it is his. It doesn't give him a sense of purpose or identity. And so I look at that, and I look at the thing that they're doing at the beginning with Robert House, talking about how dim these working class people are.
Yeah.
And I see parallels between those where like you've got a restless group of people who are forced like to the fringes of society, and they annoy you. Like if you're Barb or sorry, not Barb, Betty, they annoy you and you push them out to the fringes even further. And eventually I have to think that this is going to come back. Like Chet was working with Norm in the first season to uncover all the secrets that Betty has. Sometimes reluctantly, but he was working. Right. And now that he doesn't have anything to protect, no job, no family, no anything, he's going to be even more dangerous. You're not giving him anything to latch onto. Same with Reg, probably same with Woody over in Vault 32. And Betty knows that because she talked about like how dangerous it is to have bright, young, ambitious men with no outlet. Right. Right. Norm's the prime example of that. Yeah, I can't help but think that they're doing something with that, with artificial intelligence, putting people out of work, with these robot riots that they're experiencing. Sure. You're supposed to see like, and then I will say that there's the other side of this is there's been hysteria about automation destroying people's jobs ever since the Industrial Revolution. Okay. For sure. But in general, the jobs that replaced were jobs that nobody would want to have. And it's made way for better paying jobs that are safer. And, you know, it's like, would you rather be in a coal mine or would you rather be filing insurance claims, you know, or working in a medical office? Like, you know, like there's a clear answer for me. I'd rather be in an air conditioned office than down in a coal mine. Sure. But there is that, you know, well, if cars get developed, then the horses will be out of business. And if this gets developed, then this will get business. And I guess the question is, why is AI different? Is it different? Because because the answer of the technocrat people answer is, well, you guys are all, you workers, you fucking workers are always worried that you're not going to be able to work. You know, but this what we've seen time and time and again is automation just allows people to do more work and easier work and like saves us from drudgery, which I've kind of believe. So like, why is AI unique, you think? Because it has the capacity to replace every aspect of a human. Yeah. Like you're not talking about replacing a thing a person can do, but you're theoretically talking about a person equivalent. That's the thing. Like, you know, if you worked in a factory assembling cars for Ford in 1930 and suddenly a robot was replacing, I don't know, the stamped metal hood instead of you hammering it by hand, that's a very specific job. That is a very specific thing that humans can do that doesn't apply to stamping, you know, some other material potentially, right? Like, you can go find another job with the skills you have. If all of humanity, if the entirety of what humanity can do is replaced by something automated that can do it 24/7 without sleep, without complaint, that's, I think it has the potential to really disrupt things. But it's also like paradise yawns before us, because what if humans freed themselves to the drudgery of work and we can just do art and law and and debate the morality of applying particular science, and that you don't have. Yeah, but like, I think what everyone's afraid of are like these workers is that like, I don't think anyone feels like if that happened that the vast majority of humankind would be brought along in that paradise. I think it'd be a bloody fight for it. Yeah. Yeah. And the losers are going to be outside the walls of civilization in the wasteland scrapping for flea soup. And the people who happen to be at the top of the list when the world's stop spinning are going to be the ones enjoying the
the paradise-like conditions. That's what everyone's, I think, is afraid of.
I agree. Yeah.
That's why you got, that's, I mean, like, because I've done also, you know, try not to get too political about on the show, but like I couldn't help but notice the way they were treating the robots is historically the way people treat any kind of low skill labor. A lot of immigrants, you know, you look at the turn of the 20th century and those labor riots where like people were really beaten down and shot. And called scabs, and you know, it's like we don't, you know, we've got these railroad jobs. We don't want the Chinese. It's same as it ever was. Anytime someone, because that's the thing, is like you know, in our society, if you want to eat, you got to work. So anytime someone's coming to replace work, you're like, oh Jesus, how am I going to eat? So until we solve that problem, I think everyone's going to be pissed about automation constantly.
Yes.
Anyway, Norm. Speaking of Norm, he's at the end of his loop. End of his rope, rather. He decides to reject Bud's plans in favor of straight chaos. Why not wake up the rest of the junior execs? Plans are hard, chaos is easy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about the scene. Hell yeah. Do it, man. Get irrational.
Yeah.
Get crazy.
Yeah. It takes a whole team of men working for days, if not weeks, and hundreds of $1,000s of material to build a cell phone tower. It takes one man with a $20 Ryobi angle grinder to bring that fucker down. Chaos is entropy's always going to win. You got to spend energy to fight it. Just catering it, kicking out the legs from underneath it, greasing the hills for it to slide down. Super easy.
Yeah, it cuts both ways too, which is the shame of it.
No, it's not great for poor people to go through a situation where there's like an open revolt or like a general strike. It sucks for everybody, but
yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of like building something beautiful and something that should be and that is amazing can be undercut so easily as well.
Yep. It does. It does cut both ways. It's like, we're the haves and have-nots are kind of in like a, I guess, a Mexican standoff about, you know, why should we give you money? Why should we fucking pick up your trash? You know, why?
Yeah,
it's like they both got their guns pointed at each other's head.
Mm-hmm. Here's what the only real question I have in this scene. How are the people who get unfrozen in the cryopods that are like 45-degree angle to the ceiling up on the top gonna get out? Are they just dumped out onto the deck like Neo in the Matrix?
It looks to me like the design is it's a ring that like constantly shifts to which bed is on the bottom. But you're right, like every one of those things is smoking and outgassing and like
maybe this is the chaos. Maybe it was supposed to rotate, but
like, hey, if you want me to open your cryopods properly, you shouldn't come out with this hypodermic needle taking me prisoner. Or you should have put that brain in a fucking power suit. Not a Roomba with like a aquarium Roomba.
Right? They have power suits too. That's the strange thing.
That's what I'm saying. Bud could have put his brain in a power suit and then Norm would be in a lot of trouble. But unfortunately, the best brains of the pre-war society weren't able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like they're also kind of like, isn't that like the other thing they're saying is like the power suits were Westco, the vaults are Vault-Tech, and the robots are Robco, and they're all jealously, none of them sharing information. They all have pieces of the puzzle, but they didn't, neither one of them had the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Except maybe Robert House. We'll see.
Except for maybe Robert House got it all together at the end. Deep in Vault 24, the Ghoul and Lucy find various experiments where they tried to forcibly convert true patriot Americans into godless commie Reds, using brainwashing techniques combined with Robert House's neckbox technology. Not Xbox, neckbox. Nextbox 360. They next bone. They find out her dad has stolen the vault's data drives and left behind a message for Lucy. Go home. I'm going to fix everything. Sugar bomb.
Sugar bomb. I looked it up.
This is the Flea Lady's son, right?
It must be. Yeah, because she said that he took him, and it's pretty freaky. I actually really like how they shoot this, and It's fucked up.
I always think it's horrifying when someone's being used like that, and there's like better, like another one is like in The Dark Knight, where the one mentally ill guy's got a cell phone bomb in his belly, but he can't, the Joker. The Joker kind of lured him in to blow up the cop thing, and then you got here where a person's like, brains aren't working, or first thing I can remember, Wrath of Khan, where they got those fucking worms and they're trying to make him shoot James T. Kirk and the guy. Yeah. Make the eels wrap around your cerebral cortex and make you susceptible to. I think it's something really horrifying about being used against your will, but like there's still enough awareness to you that you know what's happening.
Yeah,
like, that's what I got. This guy, he's like confused and he's not, but he's trying to fight it, but he can't, and he doesn't understand it, and then his head explodes. Ugh.
Yeah, and the dim quote unquote construction worker is that way too, right? You can see he's got an eye to do harm to Robert House, and you just can't control him. I looked it up to see if this vault was in the game, Vault 24, because there are a lot of vaults.
I'm glad you're the adventurous one, because okay.
I wasn't going to read about it if it was. I was just curious if this was one.
What possible purpose could there be to brainwashing Americans to be communists? Like, is this so was this a vault that's just a regular vault tech, and Robert came after the bombs dropped and started practicing his technology there, and it's like, well, let's if you can make a American who's been brainwashed by propaganda, like I think in the Fallout world is continuously brainwashed from the time of the 1950s on. So for 120 years, 6-7 generations of Americans think that the commies are the devil. Which fair enough. They killed their fair share of people through stupid shit and imperialism. But
sure.
Is that it's like that was his experiment. If I can if I can undo 120 years of brainwashing, then I know that this thing works.
I think so.
Or okay.
Yeah, I think it's like, what is the hardest objective I could complete with this technology? Turn Americans communist.
Yeah. On the other hand, if this is the improved technology and it still doesn't work, like it can't sustain human contact for more than 15 seconds before it tomato cans your head, like I don't know if miniaturizing it's going to make it much better.
Definitely not.
But yeah. So and that's the other thing that Cooper asked her question. What do you think about your daddy now? And she's like, he's not going to stop hurting people. And Justice says that she has to do something about it. Hank makes it to what looks like a Vault Tech office bunker. He throws himself into the joys of middle management, getting dressed in a snazzy suit and battleship gray, and pitches a promotion-worthy integration project to his boss, whom I'm presuming is Robert House. Because he would, why? Who would it be? But they're also being weirdly mysterious enough about it that I almost think that I'm missing something. There's going to be yet another faction. This is going to be Westco, and not Robert House. They're going to be competing.
Maybe it's
that's
Barb.
The other thing. It's like
maybe Barb leapfrogged him.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! You actually, because because the whole time I'm watching this, I was like, okay, so there's a big bad who was ruling the world before the fall. He's had 200 years to consolidate his power. Like, what's interesting about Lucy and the Ghoul fighting this guy? Like I don't get it. But if there's multiple factions and like Barb is one of the ones that's trying to compete against, and that, okay, I like that's a really good
there's
idea.
something in here. I felt like Hank had been working behind Vault Tech's back to support Robco.
This is possible.
Were you picking that up in this scene?
I can kind of see if I squint. So you're saying that the reason like he blew up the Shady Sands is furthering Robco's objective? Because that's consistent with the Vault
I mean before
objective.
the fall. I mean like he was somehow
He's the inside guy.
Yeah, giving Robco and Robert House directly information about what was going on here, and so he would know when to push the buttons. I'm not sure.
It's plausible. What I think I mean, that's a perfectly plausible explanation. What I thought was going on was that it's like Hank's been put in a position where he's got to quit his job at Vault Tech, and he goes to the only place he knows is still hiring, and essentially says, "Hey, I've got a bunch of client lists and IP,
Sure.
and I want to defect because the Vault Tech is all thumbs up their assholes, and you're the." But and there's also the way Kyle MacLachlan plays this as both being intimidating and placating, because he's like, "Oh, I hope you're still alive." Not that I'm implying you wouldn't be, but also ballsy and forceful and threatening. Because by the end of it, he's like, "Oh, I'll take your improvement, but all you need is someone to integrate this stuff and put it on a bow and bring it home for you. And I am the one that can do that. And you'll beg for my He goes from subservience to aggression in the span of a 30-second monologue.
Yeah. He really wants that promotion that I don't think is ever going to come. But this makes a little more sense if it is Barb, actually, because then it wouldn't be. It's like he's going to a Vault Tech facility in New Vegas.
But it's not a vault.
But
like,
Robert
I do believe
House
this
is in there. Right.
This is a vault that was like set up for the junior executives to inherit the earth, it seems like.
Yeah. And do research there. And
this is why I was fooled in the trailer thinking that was a de-aged Kyle MacLachlan, because he's got his hair all slicked back and he's in a nice fresh suit and he's sitting in a 50 style office with all those tables and stuff. I'm like, oh, this has got to be a flashback to the junior management. No, it's just they've got this thing so they can resurrect it at will, I guess.
Yeah.
I also, now that you mentioned Barb, because like I think that you're supposed to think that, that he's in New Vegas, he's talking to Robert House, who's in Vegas. That this room is labeled global communications. Is it possible that we're not even thinking big enough? Because with a ham radio, you can reach to the other side of the world in a lot of cases.
For sure.
Certainly to Europe and South America and a lot of part of coastal Asia. But
I don't know, man. It's one of the mysteries of what's going on here in season 2, and I am excited to find out more. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think how long did you think he was going to stay in that? Because like when he started making coffee in the battle suit, I thought the funny thing was going to be that he's going to be tromping around and doing all this business stuff in like a real battleship gray suit. But
how would you type? Like your fingers are so huge.
I don't fucking know. It's so funny because even him trying to make the coffee was a struggle. You could kind of tell that like that suit barely has the dexterity to do that.
I actually felt bad for the actor. Like it must have been fun though, right? Like get your big stupid fat fingers in this coffee mug handle.
Right.
He must have done 16 takes of that.
Also, it's something that every human being has done like hundreds of times. You've poured a pitcher of coffee, but now you're doing it in your ridiculous robot suit. It must be.
I hate using my snow gloves for dexterity purposes. Like, let alone a mech.
Right. But yeah, I also love the "You're Working for the Man" song that's playing the whole time, and he's got 462,000 unread messages. He's like, let's get to it. He's just gonna. How many of those are still actionable, man? I feel like I'd just select all and delete everything that's older than like 5 years because. Yeah. Come on. But also, there's been business communication happening this entire time. Like this thing hasn't been abandoned for the whole time. Vault 24 hasn't been abandoned for the whole time. Like,
yeah.
And we also know that the other companies had their own vaults. Like, I just want to know, like, how many of these guys are we still like? Is Big Montana still a thing? Or has Vault Tech slowly but surely cut all those off, and it's just Robco and Vault Tech left, with Vault Tech apparently struggling?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this could be the nerve center of Buds, right? Like,
sure,
just everybody communicates through this hub, the knock, if you will.
Because that's the thing; it's a completely separate system from the inter-vault communications. Like this is designed to connect outside. Like that's what I'm guessing. It looks like a ham radio, so I'm guessing it's a ham radio. It's designed to make external contacts. I was gonna say, and why would you do that if you're just talking to someone in Vault Tech, or even, you're in Vegas. Why would you need that to talk to Robert House even? So I really like your, and also the way that, I'm looking at my notes about what he's saying to this person, where he's like, I know you spent all your time calculating how to survive all possible contingencies. Something about that kind of feels Barbish. The fact that like some of those speeches she gave Cooper about like, while you're out playing around, I'm trying to figure out how to save our family. And yeah, her old stomping grounds. We know she went there for at least a week. Cause like, I don't know. You're really sold me on that idea.
All right. I just threw it out there as a potential suggestion, but I think it does have a lot of potential.
Yeah. Anyway, Fallout unfortunately had the ill grace to come out during Christmas vacation, and we had all our plans made. So we are going to be able to keep up with the flow of the show, but we are not going to be able to keep up with feedback, which means the first 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be, the intervault communications are down. That's what it is. We're working on getting them back up. But send in fallout@baldmove.com. That'll all be queued by the Vault mail system. And when we get the connectivity restored in early January, it'll all start flowing again, and we'll get to the questions. But hopefully, thank you in advance for understanding, because I like to spend some Christmas time with my families. Anyway, you got anything else to say about this, Jim? Because fallout@baldmove.com is where you want to send those Intravault messages. If you'd like to get the same great feed with no ads and extra bonus content material, and keep me and Jim in the business of podcasting, we'd love your support. Support.baldmove.com, how you can join the club. We'll be back next week for another episode of the Goose and the Ghoul. Until then, Goosey. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
See ya.